Server and data management often requires you to have a steady backup you can actually use to recover data in case of any failures. And snapshots is one of those ways you can actually use to create point-in-time images of your entire server, disk, or database you can actually use to recover your data. Hello, my name is Humphrey Pyre, and I'm at Vultr here at Vultr. And in today's Tech Talk, join me as we discuss how you can actually use Vultr Snapshots to actually create some instance backups in order to achieve faster and efficient instance recoveries you can actually use to recover your data in case of any failures. And to begin with, what are snapshots? A snapshot is a point-in-time copy of an entire system or data that you can actually use to roll back changes to a specific point in time when your system was actually running in your desired state. Snapshots support incremental changes in that only changes to your data are recorded to not only save storage space, but also support faster recovery operations when you're actually recovering your system or data from a snapshot. Snapshots may include the entire file system, specific server configurations, disks, or databases depending on your target kind of data that you would like to capture. And one of the methods that you can actually use to create snapshots is Vultr Snapshots. Vultr Snapshots is a feature available in your Vultr account that enables you to actually create point-in-time instance images that you can actually use to roll back changes or recover your entire instance to a particular point in time when it was actually working fine. And by using Vultr Snapshots, you actually enable manual instance backups in that you can actually recover your instance to a specific date when it was working correctly. And in case you're targeting to clone your existing instance, you can use Vultr Snapshots to create an exact copy of your active instance to another Vultr location to actually use with other services such as Vultr load balancers to actually forward traffic from one server to another with identical services. And in cases of any location-specific failures, Vultr Snapshots are location neutral, which provide you with enough room to actually recover your instance to any Vultr location without any limitations. And by using Vultr Snapshots, you actually benefit from improved data protection, faster instance recoveries which allow you to actually recover your instance in case of any failures, and easier management as compared to any software-based snapshots that you can actually use to create snapshots. This provides you with more reliability and allows you to actually recover or duplicate your instance to any Vultr location around the world. And so, based on this background, let me take you right into a demo where we shall actually experiment with Vultr Snapshots. In this demo, we shall actually take a snapshot of an existing Vultr instance and modify this instance data to intentionally lose some files that we can actually recover using the snapshot. And so, without any further ado, let me take you right into this demo process. To get started with that demo process, I have already deployed a WordPress server running the Open Lightspeed WordPress Vultr Marketplace application. And this particular server, I have linked a domain, and upon access, I get a simple WordPress site with the name Greetings from Vultr and this simple WordPress theme. And so, in this demo, we are going to simulate a situation whereby you actually lose the entire WordPress site here, and we shall actually use a snapshot to actually recover this site back to its proper state. So, to get started with that snapshot process, you simply have to click the instance right here to access its management page. So right within this management page, you simply have to find snapshots and click it. And right within snapshots, you can see that we have two sections. One is text snapshot and one is restore snapshot. In text snapshot is where we actually define a new snapshot, and restore snapshot is where we actually find all existing snapshots on the Vultr account or for this particular instance. So whichever snapshot you choose here will be installed on this instance. But for our case, let's actually create our first snapshot. So let's give this snapshot a name such as Tech Talk Snapshot. And after entering this name as the label, click Text Snapshot to actually start the snapshot process. So as you can see, we have a snapshot in progress alert right here, meaning that a new snapshot is being captured for our instance. It's in the status pending, and if you go right into the compute page, you can see that we cannot access this particular WordPress server because the status is snapshot. So once the snapshot process is complete, it often turns to running, but during the snapshot process, you can access this server. For instance, if we load our web application, which is the WordPress site, it will actually load correctly, but we can simply not access its management page. And just to explore this WordPress server a little more, I have access to its SSH session right here. And just to see the entire directory structure for our WordPress site, we simply have to list all files in the web root directory. Commonly, var www.html is the common directory where most web applications store their data. So let's list this directory to see if we have all WordPress files in this directory. And as you can see in this particular output, we have all WordPress core files and all necessary files that are actually being displayed on this WordPress site. So now that we have access to all these files, in our snapshot we shall simulate a situation where we shall delete this entire directory and replace it with a rogue file that may be written by an attacker in a real life situation, and also make sure that we can actually use our snapshot to roll back the changes and have our instance up and running again. So as our instance is in the snapshot process, let's just give it a few minutes to complete. This snapshot process takes a few minutes depending on the size of your server disk and all files stored on it. To actually track the status of this snapshot, you simply have to expand orchestration, click snapshots, and you can see in this output that our status is still pending. So once the snapshot is ready, it should be available. And for now, we should give it just a few moments to actually complete. So now that the snapshotting process is actually complete and our instance status is back to running, let's actually verify if we can still access our WordPress site. And after reloading, you can see that we still have greeting from Vultr with our default WordPress page. And now that our WordPress site is actually loading correctly, let's verify the status of our snapshot by clicking orchestration, snapshots, and you can see in this particular output that TechTalk snapshot is actually now available and back from the pending status. So if we go back to the compute page, and right on this compute page, we have another confirmation that the instance status is actually running. So we can actually modify this instance and see how the snapshot can help us recover this data. So right into the SSH session for this particular instance, let's switch to the user home directory. For instance, my user is Linux user, and just to print the working directory is home Linux user. So let's create just some few files right here to simulate a situation where a rogue user has actually created some random files that you're not familiar with. For instance, let's name the first file as techtalk1 and the second file as snapshot techtalk.txt. So if we list files right here, you can see that we have these two files well created in this directory. However, let's actually make the much bigger change. So let's go into the var directory. And so right within this var.html directory, which is the WordPress web root directory, we can list the files again to verify that indeed the WordPress files reside here. And now let's make the much important change by removing all files in this directory. So in such a situation, you can simulate that an attacker has actually deleted all your web files and your only savior is the snapshot that we just taken earlier. So let's run the remove recursively all files in this directory. And now if we list the files again after removal, you can see that the directory is empty. However, the web server expects this particular file index.php in order to serve files on this particular server. So let's go ahead and create that using the nano text editor. So right within this text editor, let's open the PHP tag and let's use echo to output a simple message, which is greetings from Vultr. And let's actually close this particular PHP tag now. Save and close this file. Now let's grant the web server user privileges to actually read from this file by granting it 775 with sudo privileges. So right now, the change we just did is that we deleted all files in this WordPress web root directory and replaced them with a single file, which is index.php for a different web application file other than WordPress. So let's go ahead and refresh our site a little bit. And after refreshing, you can see that it has changed from the WordPress site to a simple message, which is greetings from Vultr. And just like that, we have lost all WordPress files. And in most cases where such situations happen, database corruption follows along. that means that you lose an entire WordPress site together with its matching database, assuming it's hosted on the same server. However, with a snapshot, this is much easier to actually revert. So what you just need to do is go back to the Vultr customer portal, click this target instance to open its management page. And yet again, let's go back to the snapshots tab. So right on this snapshots page, let's focus on this TikTok snapshot that we actually took earlier. So right within the restore snapshot, you can see that we have our latest snapshot right here, which is TikTok snapshot. So to recover it, you simply have to click here on restore snapshot and accept this change, because this will overwrite all existing data and reinstall this particular snapshot. So once you check this prompt right here and click restore snapshot, you will give this process just a few minutes to complete and reinstall the entire instance to its particular state when this snapshot was actually taken. If we go back to the main compute page and just see the status of this instance, it's now installing from running. So this will install all files and the entire instance as it was when this snapshot was actually taken. So yet again, give this process a few minutes to complete depending on the snapshot size in order to recover all data on this instance. Now that the instance status has changed from installing to running, it means that our snapshot is actually restored. So let's confirm that by going into our web page right here. And let's refresh this page a little bit to see if this prompt will actually go and we have our WordPress site back. By refreshing this, you can see that we have our greetings from Vultr WordPress site back, up and running. And just like that, we have actually restored our WordPress site. While all files were lost, the snapshot actually restored the entire instance state and all files that were actually on. And just to verify that we have actually restored our WordPress site, and this is not just a cached version in our browser, so we just have to switch back to the SSH session, switch to the sudo user that we actually used, and clear this page a little bit. So if we list all files in this working directory, you can see that we have no files here, while we actually previously created some new files here, which were snapshot TikTok and TikTok. So if we go back and list all files in the var.html directory, you can see that our WordPress files are actually back. So just like that, a snapshot actually restored all these files while we had actually lost them. And if we switch back to our web browser again and just refresh our WordPress site again, you can see that it's loading correctly as if nothing actually happened and as if we did not lose any files previously. So in such a situation, assuming your server is under attack, you can simply recover this snapshot and employ some security measures to ensure that you do not lose your files again or no data is actually corrupted. So in our demo process, we have actually used a snapshot to actually recover our original instance state before we actually change specific files. You can always use snapshots when applying any major changes such as upgrades or package configurations that may actually break up your entire server. A snapshot will actually help you have some data you can actually recover in case your instance fails. And so, I hope you did find this Vultr TikTok useful. If you did, I'd like to wish you the best on your next snapshot recovery in your Vultr account. Once again, thank you for watching.